Her and Jana have been talking back and forth and doing all that paperwork stuff.
And Glenn, I thought I gave some money to that because I thought we were just going to do that. So I kind of need to pull that money back because if
I would.
Okay.
I would.
Ms. Blaylock, is it too late to pull that money back? What I need to ask?
Check ain't been sent. You can always stuff it.
Ain't nobody in here?
You have to check with Randy. Call you don't text Randy.
Can we, the money I asked to go to United Way.
Yes, ma'am.
If we're gonna give them the $500,000, then they didn't need that little money. I could have used that for something else. So I sent the request in last week.
It ain't gone yet, man.
I'll have to check and see where it is in the system, but we can put a stop on it. If the check hasn't come out yet, we can put a stop on it.
You'll let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, 2 and 3 for the electrical code. We'll have a public hearing only on item 2, then vote number 3. Okay. Number 4, you're doing what you doing on this, Audrey?
Stacy and I talked today, and she sent everybody an email. Did everybody get that email that she sent out? So we're going to do the third option, which is to file the petition. Pronounce it for me so I say it right.
Petition quo warranto.
Okay.
For warranto. Okay. So we're going to do that. And so basically Stacy said we don't need to do anything. We need to let it stay as is. It'll go before a judge, and a judge will determine and give us some clear direction on how we ought to operate, because one of the things that we talked about is that then that, does that cross the board for all of our boards, that there is no, because we have that resolution, what is 22,000 or something like that? Yeah, 22,000, and it kind of says that we can, if they're not showing up, they can come off, but if that basically is null and void, we need to know that.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
but as I was speaking to Ms. Blaylock, I think it's 5 boards that was created by the state that we wouldn't have. I guess that will apply to the boards that the city created, Councillor Graham. So I guess that we'll have to look at what we created and what the state created. And I think that
maybe, but that's why we're gonna let a judge make a decision. Yeah. She's gonna make it, she's gonna file a petition by the end of next week. It should be filed between now and then we'll get a decision from a judge to kind of clarify that, so it won't be us thinking, because obviously that was a thought we had. The reason I went that direction, and Ms. Blaylock went on with me, and she's real good about helping us stay in order, and so there was some confusion on that, so we'll be clear about it at this point.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 5, that's, you got those people coming back, maybe, Mr. Mitchell?
No, that's Sherwood. Don't give me all the apartments, Mr. President. That's going to be Councilor Graham.
Oh, Ms. Gray, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did get a chance to talk with the, come on.
Sherwood Apartments was brought to my attention. The old owner, apparently they've changed ownership. Now, the old owner got a license for 23. The new owner has applied for a certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
So we're just waiting on that.
Okay. I did speak with the new property owner. They told me they would not be here, but they would have a representative here today to speak with us. They're going to give us what their game plan is as far as security, so that we can make sure they're addressing some of the issues that we know Sherwood has, and some of the issues that will not die without some extra reinforcements from the leadership there. So they're supposed to be here to talk with us today at 5.
All right, number 6. That's this is in the cooperative district for the Whitewater Park. This is one that takes we give some more property to it. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's 1.8 acres. It's an additional parcel. 1.8 acres approximately, right at Maxwell and Morris Street.
How much do we pay for it? I don't even go there. We don't get credit for it anyway. So
Not much.
All right. Anybody got any questions about number 6? I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Number 7.
Number 7.
You did everything. Number 7 now.
7 is street vacations, also related to the Whitewater project. Just sort of taking care of some,
Just
as
clean
they're getting ready to submit the plat, and I believe the
Okay.
surveyor's here.
That's what I was confused
They'll
about.
vacate the old Eugene Street, other things. It's a housekeeping item in advance
Okay.
of planning commission.
Is this preparing for the actual traffic layout and how, the streets and all that good stuff?
Yes, all that.
I don't know that
No.
specific question.
I'll finish it up. Okay.
The surveyor is here.
Okay.
Here, the engineer. Make it simple. We're just cleaning up that piece of that description on it.
Yeah,
That's all we're doing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the
they
question.
they asked about whether this puts in new streets.
No, this is removing, a lot of the streets within the development have been demolished. You know, all the homes, there's no homes. This is areas where there's the construction is going on. This is what we started at the beginning of the project and is now completely vacant. This is going through the process of just vacating the right-of-ways that remain. And as I said, there's no street remaining, there's no homes, there's no utilities, there's absolutely nothing there now. So, other than the project that's moving
So
forward.
it just, you can actually put the deed together properly now.
Yes, sir.
Good deal, okay. Fine. Anybody got any questions? All right, number 8. Number 8. Ed, you got any problem with that, number 8?
No, I think it's already done.
Okay.
Oh, you know?
Mr. President, I just want to ask Ed, few concerns, Ed. Since we're already having issues at Eastdale Mall, I just want to make sure that owners don't get blamed. Since we already know it's an issue in the parking lot, I just want to make sure we don't blame these owners.
Oh, no, yeah. We got the general manager going to talk
Okay.
to us in a minute.
Okay.
Manager's here today to talk to us. a little
Yes,
bit.
sir.
All right, number 9 is that's yours, Audrey?
I
Yes,
had
sir.
a meeting today with the business owner and a couple of the community members. We're gonna go forward with this. Everybody seems to have an understanding, but I will make sure everybody understands it cannot be a lounge. The ordinance is clear about
Clear,
that. It's
no
too
lounge.
close to a
Close
residential
early.
community. So, and I don't know, does the lounge, not being a lounge, does that dictate how late they can stay open, Ms. Blaylock? So if bar and grill can stay open to 2 a.m.?
The council can set their opening and closing. You've done it in the past, but that would be at the council, the prerogative of the council. But there's nothing in our ordinances that,
If they're serving food, they can stay open anytime, can't they?
Give me
No,
pull your mic up over there.
I said, if they're serving food, can't they stay open as late as they want?
Mr.
Yeah, that's what
President.
she was saying. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't
Mi-
anything.
Mr. President, I want us to understand, if we do not set a time, I think they can pretty much operate 24/7 outside of Sunday. Is that not correct, Ms. Blaylock?
that's correct.
So we
What's
have
the
to understand that
What's the time frame on Sunday?
you know, I guess it's that,
They have to close at 2 a.m.
2
and they
and open.
they can open back up at 9 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so we just have
don't mean much.
It used to be later than that, but they.
Well, they set some parameters and the community didn't seem to have a problem with it. The parameters they said is that on Monday through Friday, Sunday through Thursday, they close at midnight. And then on Friday night and Saturday night, they'll close at 12 a.m. I meant 2 a.m., I'm sorry, 2 a.m. Those are the parameters they set. The
sounds
community, when they spoke with them, seemed to have been okay with that. So as long as we don't have any objections, you know, at this, I'm okay with that. And then if it becomes to be problematic, we'll bring them back and we'll see how we need to adjust that. But at this point, they did. And so I want that to be on the record, so we'll have all of that stated, so we'll know exactly what the hours of operation are to be, and we want them to hold into those.
And make sure they agree to it. That way I can put it in the minutes that they
Yes, ma'am.
agree to
Okay,
it.
good deal. All right, number 10,
Clay's fine with that.
yeah, he's okay. Number 11, I'm okay with that one. Number 12, I'm okay with it. Number 13, you okay?
Yes,
Number 14, that's yours. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good
you
with
okay?
that.
Huh?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
About
Number
time.
15,
Same thing, I'm good with that.
okay. Number 16,
I'm fine with it.
good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Number 17, 18, 19, those are all appointments. I guess y'all okay with those.
Yes.
Moving right along. Number 20, we're tearing down 2, and then your resolutions for the nuisances. Okay. We got 2 people want to talk to. Eddie, can I let you talk to me last? I want Richard Holman to go first. I'm not, Richard, I need.
Come on up, Richard.
I know you're busy and you had an urgent situation and we had a mess out there over the weekend and we need to let you talk about that. And I think, Mr. Rooker, you got something to talk to him about too? Have you already talked to him?
Come on up, bro.
Okay.
Come
All
on
right.
up. You still on?
Well, he was asked to put on, he had asked him to come speak. Richard Holman.
He's done all.
Yeah, Richard, you want to tell us what's going on? And if you, or Ed, you want to talk to him about what you?
Yeah, Richard, we heard all the stuff that started at 5 o'clock out the mall, and they gathered up out there, and you had shops closed down early, and it was just an absolute mess. I don't think anybody was injured, but it's a mess. It kind of took over the parking lot and let people left. You and I have talked, and we talked about blocking the parking lot off, and you said the Dillard's is not on board yet. And so tell me what kind of security you have or doing or what we're going to do with cameras. I know our camera people are not here yet, but you've met with them, correct?
Correct. Well, as far as the Montgomery Police Department, I met with them last week, and they were going to send someone out to help to kind of diagnose some issues that we could help improve our camera system out there. We have probably 60 cameras out there, but we just need to update them a little more. Maybe try to get hooked up to the STAR system.
No, that's crucial, so we'll know what's going on when somebody makes a call. The guys in the basement at the police department can kind of tell us. When are you at some position where you can pin down the police department or get somebody out there for that, or have you reached out?
Well, we don't have a time set to do that. We've discussed it, and hopefully that will happen soon, but I don't have an exact date or time.
No, I got you. And Captain Williams is not here. He kind of had that up. He will be here.
Yeah, the results of, jumping up here to speak to the results of the meeting we had, we did talk about his camera system, which is outdated, which they're talking about improving. Also, we talked about his security posture with hiring officers, other officers to work off duty at certain times of the day and the night. And I think we also discussed the security assessment. And what we're going to do is community policing is going to set up a security assessment and meet with all the components in the mall, and we're going to have a meeting with all of them as well. So that's what we have in plan right now.
Richard, how much security do you have in the mall? I mean, people with armed security people currently.
Well, we're not armed. We just hire security personnel that monitors to the mall, and if we have a problem, we call 911. So we don't get involved. We are seeing a lot of guns come out there. We are seeing some fighting, a lot of stealings going on, but it's getting to the point that these teenagers are taking over on the weekends, and it's causing a major issue.
Major? We got some companies that carry guns, right, that we can give him the name so he can hire maybe?
Well, from my standpoint, I can't refer one.
Yeah, I got you.
For obvious reasons, but there are some security companies that are armed that are certified that can perform their function.
Because Richard, I hate to say it, but you got to get your ownership. Your ownership's from Ohio, is that right?
New York.
New York.
Yes, sir.
So will they buy into paying for additional security to keep everybody safe?
Well, they're up to a plan to figure all this out, to how we cover them all efficiently. So we do have a budget where we are able to hire the off-duty police officers. I understand, the shortage of getting them out there is kind of hard to do. There was one there when I left that's working there right now. But, our company policy is none of our employees can carry weapons on property. So with security, even though Chief Dean mentioned last week they could do that, that's kind of something that has to be discussed and talked about before I can, tell an employee, well, you can just start wearing a gun out.
No, I'm not sure you employ. Yeah. I mean, your security hire security people that are trained with a gun.
Yeah. So we hire, besides our internal security, We'd like to partnership with the city of Montgomery and work with them if we're able to, then you know, brokering out. We did have other security companies in the mall, but based on the markup and based on what we were getting, it was better off that we hired them internally ourselves. So we're getting the same results from the same security. We're just not armed out there.
Yeah, and so on blocking off the parking lot, or a portion of the parking lot, and it appears the back portions where they attack, kind of hang out.
Yes.
We saw, for y'all that didn't see it, there's a electronic ad out right there. They're advertising for a party in their back parking lot at 10:30 Thursday night. Obviously, he's not collecting rent or endorse that, so we need some way to keep them out of the parking lot. Now, we're on top of that.
Yes, sir. What our current plan is, based on the flyer and the information we got, we want to stop it before it starts. So I'm going to have my supervisor and I'm going to have a couple of detail units in that parking lot. If it happens, we're going to stop it before it starts.
Good, good. Okay.
But also one other comment in reference to Mr. Hallman. The reason that his security stance is being reviewed is because of the large property itself. As you know, Eastdale Mall is a pretty large property.
Huge.
So the current security that he has in place is not feasible to cover inside and out due to the large area of the mall. So that's why we're going to help him. We're going to do that assessment to see what information we can give him.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
Mr. President.
CC?
Hey, Mr. Holman, have you had any conversation with the Montgomery County Sheriff Department about off-duty deputies to kind of help with your security also?
Yes, sir, and I have spoke to them 3 or 4 times in the last couple of months, and they've had no response to having any availability to send any off-duty sheriffs out there.
Wow. Okay, Richard, good luck to you.
Yep.
I know
Well, Richard,
Richard, reality of all this is, I think if your owners, or they own other shopping centers or other malls around,
Yes, sir.
you got to, this is a real fine line. Being in retail business myself, it's a fine line of how much you can man up and not run your customers off. And I hope that your owners are aware of that and how to keep the customers and keep them safe at the same time.
Well, they are aware, and they're asking us to reach out and see what we can do and reach out and partner with the city and how we can figure out how to solve this, because in my tenure, it's the worst it's been. And here we are with 90 businesses out there doing $50 million of retail sales and $5 million in sales tax being generated every year in the next 10 years being $50 million. Somewhere, we got to figure out how we're going to cover this property and keep these local business owners and these businesses in business without letting all these crowds come out there and run our good customers out of there.
Yeah, I got you.
And that's going on right now.
We got you. I think we see the problem. I think, please see the problem. We got plans, okay?
So we're good as far as,
Just gotta
working
keep-
the budget and
Keep communication open so we know what we're up to, okay?
you got it.
Mr. Holden, before you, I'm sorry I missed it.
go ahead.
I was speaking with Ed initially when a lot of stuff kicked off in the city, and I would like to ask, and we wanted to ask a lot of businesses that are in the area that cater to, teenage crowds like to come and gather, to maybe even implement some signage that states that the movie theater has done it, and other places, if they're under 18, that they need chaperones.
Yes, ma'am. We have that at every door. They might not read it when it comes in. Also, no weapons allowed as well at every door, but they just walk right by it. So they're not reading it. So you can go to these teenagers and, ask them and say, we got to be with the guardian, but they're not. They might go out one door and come in another door.
I might, just a reference to when I was younger, and the mall had to do that. Montgomery Mall implemented this right before shutdown, so I don't know what happened because I was young, but it was an instance where it may be a little extra work for you, but I think it's worthwhile doing because we want to hold parents accountable. So there was an instance where a lot of us got held in the food court, and the security came on board, and they came through and got a list of all of us and numbers, and we couldn't leave until our parents came and got us.
I think it's a great idea.
Well, Richard, the problem is, and it's Major, you and I'll go out there, or some of you folks, and meet with you one day, but can you limit your access? You got to have somebody that these kids are going to respect, or they're just going to blow through the door. I mean, we got to have somebody. And the problem with us, we will come when we're called, but we don't patrol for free
Right.
private individuals' malls. I mean, unfortunately, But we realize there's a problem, and we realize that people are in danger. We want to address that, but we got to work together on that really, really well.
100% open to that. And just start closing some of the doors. I think that it might be a fire marshal issue.
No, I think it would be
to
a
close some of
point.
the doors off. You know, so.
Tough problem, tough problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Richard, thank you so
All
much.
right. Appreciate it.
Good luck,
Thank you,
sir.
guys. Appreciate all y'all.
Eddie, you want to talk to us about your? You don't want the other person to go? Let's let that, Ed, let's let Shannon Wilkins, Shannon Wilkins. I'll let you talk real quick, like I'll let Eddie talk fast. He's gonna take longer, and it'd be better. You can do it in 2 minutes, and he'll do it in 5 minutes.
How are you all this evening?
Hi.
This is my first time ever before I city council, so y'all excuse me. I've always had a big mouth, but today my nerves getting me sitting. As he said, my name is Sharona Wilkins, and I've been living in Montgomery approximately 4 years now. And upon noticing a couple of things in Montgomery, I decided to start a nonprofit. The name of the nonprofit is Restore Generational Wealth. And we're focusing on a couple of things, not just the business aspect of it. We're looking forward to hosting an event June 24th to bring in vendors, retail sellers, to offer their services and products and possibly start a business here in Montgomery. So we have looked into acquiring the Union Station downtown. We're trying to promote the business to get about 10 food trucks and maybe 40 retail or service vendors to come out and offer their services. And this will allow people to come in and see different minority-owned businesses. And with that, we're also trying to generate proceeds so that we can start doing more things in the community. One would be feeding the homeless, because there is a homeless epidemic here, and we've noticed it. And I was encouraged to come here and share this with you all in hopes to possibly come back and see where we can fit in to help out in the city of Montgomery, or if there's anything that we can offer. But I am better with people asking me questions, so is there anything you would like to know?
Where was the location you stated downtown?
I'm sorry.
Where was the location you wanted to host the event downtown?
Oh, Union Station downtown,
Union Station.
the
Okay.
train shed.
Okay.
Do you have any, a pamphlet or a flyer about your business, what you do, your nonprofit?
I did have some information, but I didn't know it was this many people here. So I will give you what I have, and I can also give you the website. Can I just bring it up to you?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
I had to take a picture of it.
We can get some copies made and other councilors can have them.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
We can get some copies made of it for those that want.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, Eddie, now you're up, Eddie. Okay, I'm sorry. And I knew you were gonna take more than 2 minutes.
I hope not.
All right, good. I'd like to hear that.
So listen, the mayor wanted me to reintroduce the Citizens Police Review Board. This is actually an ordinance, a 10-page ordinance, as opposed to the 2-page resolution that was presented before. And in that resolution, in that ordinance, he wanted to make sure that you knew that the priorities for that is going to be to protect civil rights, to support effective policing, ensure greater accountability, also to increase confidence in the police, and to build bridges between the community and the police, and also help manage risk and liability for the city. And you all should have a copy of the actual ordinance if you have any questions.
Mr. President.
Let us read it and we'll come back to you.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I have one question. My biggest concern to make sure that this is not parallel with city investigation. I know when myself and Councillor Johnson tried to do a blight review board, we was told that we didn't have the authority to create a review board. It had to be an advisory board, and it could not be parallel to something that was already being done within the city of Montgomery. And I think city inspections was doing what we were trying to do. So that would be my only concern, and I can ask that question to Stacy. Would you be able to, because you work with us on the Blight Review Board, can you kind of answer being parallel or us actually being able to create a review board?
And you're asking me to think back to when we did that.
Check it email right quick.
I do remember having those conversations, and the board was basically, I think what you initially were wanting to do was set up this board that was going to be operating and looking at blight, things that our department already did. And the discussion we had was basically if you wanted to have them review the files from inspections, then that was feasible. But to have them actually conduct a parallel investigation could result in some liability for the city, simply because if you have two parallel investigations, then you're looking at two different outcomes potentially, and if you have two different outcomes, how you address that issue. So that was part of our discussion, and I think I've had discussions with the mayor's office on this board, and what their access would be, because with a blight board, most of the documentation there is a public record. So the citizens could review that. When you're talking about a police review board, access to certain documents that the city has would be limited. All of our dash and body cam are confidential. They're not produced pursuant to public record. So the information that would be provided to the board would be very limited in nature. And I think what we discussed, and again, Eddie can certainly correct me because he is really handling the meat of this, but they would, instead of actually reviewing the video, that kind of thing, there would be a report, I think, from city investigations to the board.
I got a question. So then this board really is just going to be looking at what the investigations do and then determine whether or not.
That's correct. So they're going to be the review board. So they're going to review those documents to make sure that all the procedures were followed correctly. And if there's anything, for instance, right now, certain civilian police review boards, they're looking at tasers. Tasers, if you know use of force, they can be in level 3 or level 4. Well, for Montgomery, I don't know what it is, but let's say, for instance, it's in level 3. The review board will come back and recommend that that be actually in level 4, because you don't want to use that use of force in level 3 when you haven't given the PERT time to do what he needs to do. So those are the types of things that they'll review and make recommendations on. Keep in mind, they're not a governing board. They're just going to be a review board.
Charlie?
Yeah,
Can I put my 2 cents in?
please do.
And y'all know where I'm at on this. Can you play that video for me in the back real quick? This was Friday night, Eddie, what happened on Atlanta Highway and Bell Road. This is what happened. Can't hear it. Can you turn it up? There was, just in y'all listening to that, just so y'all know, there was over 280 shell casings that were picked up out there that night.
Get your microphone where you hear.
I'm sorry, there were over 280 shell casings that were picked up that night. Year to date, we've had 27 murders. We've had 90 non-fatal shootings. And this is my opinion. We're going to ask our men and women to go figure out who's doing that, but yet we're going to tell them at the end of the day, we don't trust them, that we're going to have a police review board. If you speak to someone improperly while somebody's shooting at you or something, I find it real hard for me to ask men and women to go figure that out. But by the way, I don't really trust you. We have a chief of police, we have a mayor, we have a city council, and we have internal affairs. And if we don't believe our police officers, I've had this conversation with Chief Albert, we need a new chief. I had it with Chief Finley. If we don't trust them, then we need to find somebody we trust. But I'm not going to vote for something that an officer that's 22 years old is afraid that he's going to say something wrong, get brought up on charges, so therefore he's not going to stop somebody.
So, Councilor Pruitt, it's important to read this new document that I drafted, because if you look on page 7,
yes, sir,
where it has the scope of work, it's specifically talking about what they're going to be looking at. Those menial things that you just mentioned is not one of them. We're talking about the use of excessive force. We're talking about inappropriate language and attitude, harassment, discrimination, theft, failure, retaliation, criminal misconduct, any violation that a military police department's policy and procedures, they go against any of that is what we're looking at. We're not looking at if they're doing their job and actually going out there trying to find out something. Everybody needs to be held accountable. That's including the mayor and the senior policy advisor and the city council. I mean, we're held accountable by the people out here, so the police should be held accountable as well. And we're trying to create trust between the community and the police, not trying to dissuade that.
I understand, Eddie, but out of these 117 murders this year, Montgomery Police Department has not... 27 murders and 99 fatal shootings for a total of 117. Out of the 117 shootings, Montgomery Police Department has not shot anybody.
But we're trying to prevent, it's just a matter of time before that comes to Montgomery.
I disagree with that. If we're saying it's a matter of time that we're going to do something stupid, I don't... And that's just mine. We got 8 other people. Right. And I'm at where I'm at.
We're just being proactive. So when it does come to Montgomery, we have a way to have some type of oversight and review if it does happen. Everybody on the police force in the past, and I've been here for a while, I know that they hadn't been all honest.
No, listen. We got, what, 1,800 employees in this city? Total? I mean, everybody ain't church-going Christians.
That's right.
I mean, I understand that part of it. But I do not want them to ever feel like that this council and this administration don't trust them. So therefore, we're going to put a review board on.
And Council, let me say one more thing too. Also, Chief Albert has gone through this with me line by line, and he actually has endorsed this particular Citizens Police Review Board as well. So.
And I tell you what, I will vote for it if every one of those 11 people that sit on it, they go through the whole police training.
Well, see, that's another thing.
How long? And I read some of that.
If you look on page 5, that's right.
Yeah, but you talking about going to community policing and watching some K-9. How long is your training process through the academy? Ballpark. If they go through 22 weeks of what they do and run them 5 miles under 5 minutes or whatever they got to do, they can do it. That's just me.
So that would be also.
But going to sit in class and watch
that cut out the council.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
I ain't doing it. Right. I can't drive a mile without a dime.
Exactly.
Mr. President, just one question. I just want to make sure we do have the authority. I have no reading it. I just want to make sure that we do have the authority to create this particular board.
So I've collaborated with SPLC and Appleseed, NAACP, Church Women United, and Montgomery Unite, and everybody is not only in agreement with me that we do have the authority, but that they also want this to happen so we can have some type of review.
Charlie, one more, and I'm done. I'm off. We've got less than 360 officers today.
How many?
Less than 360 today.
Stacy, I saw your hand up, Mr. President. Stacy, you was about to say something? You were about to say something about our authority to create the board? No?
Yeah, I'm just saying we've got less than 360, and we continue to put things on and on these men and women. We're going to continue to lose them.
Well, I have a question. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm
well, my question is, Mr. Compton, tell me what's our policy and procedure now? if we
For-
have these issues go on that we addressed on page 7.
Oh, good question.
What are we doing now?
So right now, if you go to page 7, at the bottom, section 4, where it says complaints, that's our recourse right now. We have several ways to do that, but the community is not involved, and that's what this Citizens Police Review Board is going to do. It's going to involve the citizens of Montgomery. Right now, the complaints go through CI and MPD, but now they're going to be working together.
But it's still gonna go through the same process.
That's right.
Still through CI, still through MPD. But after they do their evaluation, then it'll come over to the review board. Well, let me ask this question. What if it don't make it to the review board? Because who's keeping up with, because that's the review board, will they get notice of every complaint filed with
So that's
investigation?
right. CI gets notice of all complaints filed by the city, so the review board would have that access as well.
Only the ones that fall in this criteria,
Exactly.
though, right?
That's right. That scope of work, or scope of authority.
Eddie, I believe I heard you say that the military had this.
The military?
This came from the military?
Oh, no, sir. No,
Okay,
sir.
good. Because I know if you're in the military, you can't leave. But if you're in the police department, you can leave the next day.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
make sure of that.
But now I've talked to several police officers as well. You know, I'm on the Stop the Violence team. And the only thing that I heard from them is that they wanted to make sure that they had training prior to being on the board. And that's why I added that particular section in
I
there.
agree with that. I'm just, my main concern is we're short, like Mr. Pruitt said, we got 360 officers. We need 500. And does this send a message that we don't want you to come to work in the Montgomery Police Department?
I don't think it does. I think it sends a message that they can be more involved and more interactive with our community, and that our community can have a voice on what they're doing.
Okay?
Can we have a community, have we had a community engagement where we've invited the community up to, like, posted it and invited the public to come in and see it, talk about it, and hear them? Have we done that?
We have not had a community forum, no. But we have engaged the community, and that's why Reverend Rayford Mack here from NAACP is here today.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Council. This is not my first time here speaking on behalf of the Civilian Police Review Board. When we ask the question, surely we can find an incident where that's extreme, that would cause someone to be reluctant about starting something new. But what you have to remember, though, each one of you is going to be appointing a member of that board who's going to reflect the views of the people that you are representing. So that would be entailed. But first of all, why should you fear or be worried about something if you're going into a situation to resolve? If you're doing the right thing, you have nothing to fear. Now, we've been out in the community, educating the community on the Police Civilian Review Board, and they are enthusiastic about it because they want to have a hand in it. But you all are going to be the ones who make the appointment. And I surely believe that you're going to appoint someone that's going to reflect your views. So that particular incident, you know, when those officers run in there, they're going to be concerned about whether or not they're doing the right thing. I think that's going to be the furthest thing from their mind. Their mind is going to be on resolving the issue. And then if something transpires, then let that be resolved.
No, that's not what I was really saying, Reverend. What I was
no,
saying,
but that's the way it was.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we're asking our men and women to run into that. And then at the end of the day, we're saying we really don't know if you're doing what's right on the street by our people.
Councilman,
so therefore, we're going to do a review board.
That's not the question.
And we put well, it is the question because we put so much on our police department. They've got to be, you know, a psychologist. They've got to enforce the law. They've got to be a lawyer. A lawyer. They've got to be a therapist to some dude that's beating his woman up. I mean, we put all of this on them.
I'm totally in agreement.
And then,
with you,
you know, but yet we don't trust you. I have a massive problem with that.
But that's just one negative. But think of the situation, and this has nothing to do with color or race. people are people.
Right.
Incidents do happen.
They do.
So we have to look at it on the positive side that we're resolving the situation. Whenever we think in this particular world, we cannot make a decision without thinking about color. Instead of doing the right thing.
Let me ask you a question. You're a member of a large organization nationwide, okay? Give me one example where this has been done that has been successful for that police department, okay?
Well,
it's
been successful in all the cities that it's been, but
Has
not
it really?
every.
I just want one.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Houston is one of the most
Houston?
progressive. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have Milwaukee. And you know, but what I'm saying is, any new entity, any new program, is only going to be effective by the people that you place there and the tools that they're given to work with. And I think that the review board will really enhance the city of Montgomery, and it will just be another positive check mark on us. And just dealing with the totality of the whole situation is something that's really needed in this community. And it's not punitive.
I appreciate your input. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I'm still asking.
You want to ask a question?
Yes, Mr. President. I would like to see us have that community engagement that we haven't had. I'd like to see us do that. We got a whole media team that can help us, you know, with spreading the word out and just getting it out there, and just see if we can get some people to come. And because at the end of the day, this is for them.
That's right.
So to put it in place and they don't even know it's in place, then that's still haven't done anything. Because a lot of people miss our meetings. They won't, you know, catch it if this on the news tonight. They might miss the news. So if we do a public engagement, I think we share the word. We get to hear what the people really stand on it. And then, you know, our decision will be based off, this is what our community is asking for as well as this administration. And also they'll know what's in place. So they'll be aware of what rights they may have or what issues, because some people don't even know that if they're talked to any kind of way by the police, that's a problem. They just talk to that way and they just say, well, I'm black, so I'm just faced with that. Just how they talk to me. You know how sometimes, but we need our people to understand, no matter your color, if you're a citizen in the city of Montgomery, there are certain rights to you. I agree with Pruitt that we, at the same time, we're asking law enforcement to step up to the plate, so we want them to know it's to protect them as well. I think it's a protection both ways, so that we treat people how, you know, we would want to be treated, as well as, you know, they get an opportunity to serve like they've been hired to do. So I'd like to see us do that before we actually vote on it. I don't know if it's doable. If it's not, you know, we can talk about that, but I would love to see us do that.
Ms. Ram, and I think you're right on that, Mr. President, Ms. Ram. I think you're right, and I think they're introducing this today. So if we was to take this up, what my suggestion would be, we put it on our agenda, we carry it for public communication for 2 consecutive meetings, which would be 4 consecutive meetings. Get the media to get it out that we're considering this civilian review board, let them come in and give their input on this before we make a decision going forward. I think that's a bright idea. Instead of putting it in a committee, let's get some feedback from the committee. Me and Pruitt have had some of those same concerns over the years. But, you know, we can do something that can enhance our police department and our community working together for development as we go forward. That's what I think about.
And I like to ask that the public communication part be doing a work session. If we could do that, can we do that, Ms. Blaylock? So that it don't kind of bog down the agenda for a month?
It just won't be a part of the minutes, you know, the minutes for the work session.
But we need it to be a part of the minutes, don't we? Well, so we'll put it in the actual agenda. Yeah.
I think reality, what you're saying is the time element. I think you got to go to committee, let the committee have an open meeting, and then let that go in that way.
Oh, so let the committee have an open meeting?
Yeah, have more.
That would be better.
Mr. President, the only thing about a committee now, if we're going to go to a committee, I want to see us work on it.
Yeah,
I don't want to put it in a committee and we can go to sleep like most things that go into it.
Well, maybe we need to set that today like we would normally do. We form a committee, whoever want to be on the committee.
Well, is it in our police safety, our public safety committee? No, it's me, Glenn, over there, Ed.
Y'all have that.
All right, thank you, Eddie. Okay, anybody got anything else? Meeting adjourned till 5 o'clock.